All-Pro center, six-time Pro Bowler, member of the 2000s All-Decade team, Bears legend, football analyst for 670 The Score. Olin, how have you never been on the show? How have you never been on our show? Welcome. Thank you.
It's not my choice. You know, I come where I get invited. So
you're busy.
Here I am today.
Olin Kreutz, you said you're very busy. I'm very happy. You're busy with your sons. Two of your sons play for Illinois, which I love. James, a sophomore linebacker. Josh, a center, just like his dad. They unfortunately lost to your alma mater, Washington, last weekend. I'm sure you're always rooting for them, but what's going on here? Huskies get the win.
They did. Washington played really good. Tough to play in Washington. They haven't lost there since 2021. Coach Jed Fish did a really good job. As you're saying, it was surreal to be there. And like I catch myself, all the chants start getting going, like whose house, dog's house, and hello, dog fans. And I'm cheering it, and I realize I'm there to support my son for Illinois. So it was a cool moment for me and my wife to be in the stands. And like you said, we're busy. We had the two boys. My daughter plays volleyball at Miami of Ohio for Coach Dan Gwitt. They're trying to turn that program around. And I have three other daughters under her who are also volleyball players. So we're running all over the place and following their careers and really enjoying it.
Grace at Miami of Ohio. It's very impressive. It sounds very exhausting. Unbelievable. Yeah. 6 kids, of course, you and Wendy. Love that. I bet Halloweens were very fun growing up. And by the way, Illinois has Rutgers on Saturday. Illinois 12.5-point favorites. Everybody, if you're interested in that sort of information. Now let's get to the Bears. I will be trick-or-treating somewhere in Chicago tomorrow with my nieces and nephews. And I remember I'm a kid who grew up in the Chicago public school system. And what we had are something called progress reports. They sucked. You got them report cards are enough, Olin, but we'd have to come home and there was this green sheet of paper and our parents had to sign it. And you were never I'm a procrastinator. I was never doing great midway through a quarter. But we're midway through the season, so I need a Bears progress report as we sit here. And I'm going to do it in 3 phases, 3 things that really pop out. And I want to start with the defense. What kind of grade would you give, A through F, this defense midway?
I think you got to give them a B, right? I think with all the takeaways, they're leading the league in turnover differential, and they had 15 in 4 weeks, which is crazy. It was amazing. My partner on 670 The Score, Pat Manley, talked about takeaways in bunches. They come in bunches. Well, they sure did for the Chicago Bears. And with all the injuries that Coach Dennis Allen has been dealing with, Kyler Gordon in and out of the lineup, Grady Jarrett getting injured, just the concepts and the schemes that he has come up with to confuse quarterbacks like Geno Smith, like Dak Prescott, his third down simulated package pressures have been really fun to watch. And I've been really impressed with Dennis Allen. And B is only because they're 4-3. I really think this defense is playing really well. I really enjoy watching nose guard Andrew Billings go to work. When he does get in there, they didn't start him to start the year. They started Javon Dexter at nose guard. And with the injuries they had what I think is their best football player in Jalen Johnson, him being injured, not even starting the year, and Tyreek Stevenson going, has been really fun to watch.
I'm glad that you're saying that because them doing this without Jalen Johnson is very impressive. And I think it's at a national level, we don't think this Bears defense is roaring. But it be, you're a generous teacher, maybe. A lot of people will say, I can't wait to see what the internet says about this. We'll see what kind of a generous grader you are. How about Ben Johnson? What grade would you give him in his Chicago Bears progress report year 1?
I think you got to give him at least a C, right? Obviously, the offense isn't scoring yet. And you got to realize, Kay, I didn't have them at over 500. I had them right under 500 when the year started. When I looked at their roster, when I looked at what they could be. So they're right around where I thought they would be. Actually, with a winning record is not where I thought they would be. And you could argue that the 15 takeaways is the reason that they have a winning record today as we sit here going into week 9 of the NFL season. But if you're asking me what I think about them, yes, I think Ben Johnson has got this team playing for him, got them believing in him. Now, the offense got to put points on the board, right? 16 in Baltimore is not enough. We got him from the Lions where they averaged 30 points a game. Oh, look, Johnny Morton has them scoring 30 points a game again. So wondering what Ben Johnson is, waiting for him to get this offense going in the right direction.
What do you need to see? Because I saw that you said that they're outperforming expectations. It clearly has to do with the coach. You know better than anybody some of the institutional stuff, some of the mindset, the mental stuff, the adversity that you have to sort of overcome to give confidence to your team, all of that. What does he need to do to get a better grade? I feel like I would be in your office being like, what the hell, man?
Well, I would like to see him get this quarterback going. As you know, that's what we're watching for, right? And Caleb has 3 interceptions and 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games. And that critical interception he threw against the Baltimore Ravens, I put that on Coach Ben Johnson. I think they're tied together. I think that offense is all tied together, waiting for the schemes, the concepts to put the ball in the end zone, in the red zone. That's what we want. That's why Ben Johnson is here. And look, if you get $13 million a year, you get graded hard, right? You get graded hard as the coach who came in and wanted to fix this offense, like they brought Matt Nagy in, and that didn't happen there with Mitch Trubisky. As you know, okay, coming from Chicago, we've been going through this for a long time. So we are watching if this thing is going to turn into the right direction. We are waiting for a franchise quarterback to get going and keep us in the hunt year in and year out.
What grade would you give Rome Odunze? Watch it.
Rome, I think Rome is like a B right now. I think he's playing really well. Rome is obviously from University of Washington, like you said. There's some big catches that he has missed, but he has become a matchup nightmare for a lot of these cornerbacks. He's big. He runs really good routes. We forget. We want success right away, but we forget how young this team is. We forget that they're only in week 8. They're in the first year of this system. They brought in Antoine Randall from the Detroit Lions, who does a great job coaching the offense. I think he is the assistant head coach for the Chicago Bears. They put a lot on Anton Randall's plate to develop these wide receivers like Luther Burden, like Rome Odunze, like DJ Moore, get them moving in the right direction. They have a lot of weapons. Now we're waiting to see it all come together. Really excited to see where this offense goes.
As a Washington Husky, and Rome, of course, is as well, how much, true or false, you campaigned for him? Did you want him to Chicago? Did you send Do-Right or Stan's Donuts to the front office and polls and say, this is the guy?
No, because I'm an offensive lineman. And I wanted Olin Kreutz that year, right? And I wanted guys who could protect Caleb. And I'm always kind of worried about, I've said a lot that Ryan Poles is building a 7-on-7 team here in Chicago and skipping offensive lineman, but he did go out and sign Drew Dahlman, Joe Tooney, and Jonah Jackson. But if you're asking me who I wanted in that draft, love Rome, right? Love the Dogs. Whose house, dog's house, all that stuff. I can give you all the chants, all the cheers. I did go to Washington, but I wanted the left tackle to put there, plug him in, and let him play for 10 years.
Don't you like the guy at left right now? Let's do it. I mean, offensive line. What grade are you giving them? I should have asked you that instead of Rome. I got a lot of questions.
No,
about
you're
Rome.
good. I think the offensive line again is coming out from a D to a C. Right, they didn't do real good, and they went into the bye week, and they fixed their run game. Their run game wasn't doing very well, and they weren't stopping the run after the Raiders game, right? So they went to the bye week, and they went to the Commanders, and everybody's like, they're going to lose because at the time the Commanders were number 1 rush offense, and we had the worst rush defense in the league. They fixed that. They ran the hell out of the ball for 2 games, right? I think 200-plus yards in 2 games. So, against Washington, New Orleans, now they kind of came back a little against Baltimore. But this offensive line, the coach Dan Rochard, the offensive line coach, working well together. I can see it on film, starting to learn each other. I just seen a combination block versus Jonah Jackson and Darnell Wright, where they absolutely killed the Baltimore defensive linemen. So they're coming along, and like you talked about, that left tackle position is always in question, always in flux. Started with Braxton Jones. They benched him. Now they're with Theo Benedict, who's from British Columbia. I mean, the story is crazy. They moved him to the starting lineup. He's got a lot to learn.
I don't think that this team will be active at the trade deadline. But then I'm hearing the DJ.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Are you hearing the DJ Moore stuff? What do you think of that? Should they trade him?
I hear it, and I don't think they should. I really like DJ Moore, and I like his game, right? I think he's a tough wide receiver. I think he put the ball in his hands. He gets critical yards. Just last week, 37. They pop out a little pass to him, and he fights for 10 yards. They put him in running back. He blocks. I mean, look at him here, running over guys. This is DJ Moore, man. They don't just make guys like this everywhere, right? So if you decide that you want to move on from him and move to Luther Burden, you could see why they would do it, Kay, and why people are asking the questions, because they put so many assets into this part of the room, right? They even drafted Colson Loveland, who's basically a wide receiver at tight end right now, and he'll learn how to block. He's a big guy, but they drafted him. They drafted Luther Burden. They drafted Rome Odunze. So DJ's more names obviously comes up. I don't like it. You could see why they would do it. I wouldn't do it right now. I would leave him there so Caleb has much weapons as he needs to get the ball out of his hands for guys to make plays.
I'm looking at the odds right now. The Bears are plus 265 to make the playoffs. It would be amazing if that happened this year, but like everything going on, even this trade deadline, it's like bigger than that, right? If we zoom out, this is a 3 to 5 year, 5+ maybe year situation in this division. And if I look at it, you got the Lions and the Packers. They're kind of even, great, highly paid quarterbacks. They're stacked. There's great leadership. It's really about, like, the advantage the Bears have is that they've not paid their guy. You know, they don't, they've not given that. They have to really make it count, every move that they frickin' make in the next, I mean, this trade deadline, they want to come. So the DJ Moore thing is a little bit attractive if you're looking at it objectively for like, what do we do to close that gap? Who do you think, or are there moves that you think that need to be made? Let's say like macro level, like zoom out over the next 3 to 5 years this year that need to be made by, you know, by whoever's running the front office, Ryan Poles, of course, to sort of, what's it going to take to overcome those two juggernauts at the top?
It's funny, you said 3 to 5 years, and then you're from Chicago, and you said 5+. So I know how you feel, right? Like, it's going to take a while. Like, we got to fix this thing. We haven't won a playoff game since I played, and I'm old, right? So it's been a long time since Chicago Bears got this thing moving in the right direction with the culture that they need. I think they just need to keep building up right now, get their young quarterback playing better. It's still a winning culture there at Hallis Hall. We just talked about how much losing they have done there in the last 10 years. So it's going to take a while to turn that building around, get it moving in the right direction, get your young players to become blue chip players, right? Darnell Wright, Rome Odunze, you just mentioned him, right? You know, guys like Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, raise them up, and then they become the leaders in your locker room, and they teach guys how to win, how to get this thing moving in the right direction, back up Ben Johnson. But like you said, you got to zoom on, and that's why I said, like, don't trade DJ Moore right now. Just draft better. You got to get that left tackle position to me. You got to get a high-level player in there so the quarterback is comfortable in the pocket. We got to get more pass rush, right? Dio Odenbeg. I don't want to even, like, butcher his name, so I just call him Dio. He came over from the Colts. Not a ton of pass rush on this team right now. Javon Dexter, waiting for him to develop, become a blue chip football player. Jaquan, Kyler Gordon, keep him healthy. So these young guys keep developing, get 8 to 10 blue chip football players on your team.
I'm trying to think of who's the most important figure in these 3 to 5 and 5+ to make this happen. Who would you? I mean, I think it's Ryan.
It's obviously Caleb Williams, right?
See,
it's obviously
it's
the
Ryan.
quarterback.
Who do you think it's Caleb?
I think it's Caleb Williams, right? I think he's the quarterback. I think, you know, look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't really matter who they put on the field with him. They keep going to the playoffs. They keep ending up in AFC Championship games. And obviously, they got other guys like Chris Jones, and they surround him with other people. But people leave, people go. I mean, if you look at Patrick Mahomes, the offensive lineman that he has gone through the playoffs with, I mean, it's changed every year. And he just keeps getting there, keeps producing, him and Travis Kelce. But when you have the quarterback, if you have an elite quarterback, if you have a top 2 or 4 quarterback in the NFL, you'll compete every year. If not, you better get yourself a #1 defense, right? And you better get a lot of takeaways. And the thing about, if you even look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's a great football player, I don't think anybody would argue that. He's been great for a long time. The only time he ever won a Super Bowl was his defense was the #1 scoring defense in the NFL.
Really well said. Love hanging out with Olin Kreutz. We're going to get to you in your Hall of Fame here in a minute, but I'm getting crushed on Twitter. Usually do. Bears fans, I know. I said there's this throw. Okay, I interviewed Jordan Love. Oh, there we go. Whoa.
How about that?
What?
We got action in here.
What's going on?
It just fell, my phone. Sorry.
No problem. Let me know when you're ready.
I will.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're inside the top 30, if I'm correct, right?
You mean the Bears 100?
Yeah.
Yes,
27, 26, 27?
I don't remember the exact number.
Love that. Okay, so I interviewed Jordan Love, and we obviously incredible game, high pressure game up against the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, all of that, and I gave him a lot of love for this throw on the move, and I said not a lot of quarterbacks can do this or pull this off, and there's a debate online as to whether or not this throw is impressive. This is something that Jordan Love does consistently, by the way. Are you impressed by this throw?
Yeah, I see what your point is. There's not a lot of people, you know, there's like 32 quarterbacks in the NFL, but how far did that throw travel? I mean, there's a lot of NFL quarterbacks who could make that throw. It is a good throw. I think that's Christian Watson, who, when he's coming back, man, it's going to make a big difference for the Packers. And they're a scary football team right now, and we watched them against the Steelers. But good throw. I wouldn't say great, Kay. I wouldn't. I wouldn't give him a golden arm statue, but there was a throw. If you want to find the throw Caleb made to DJ Moore at the end of the game last week.
Okay, can we find that?
That was a throw. Now.
Okay, let's. We'll keep talking, and I'd like to see that. I can't. 42 yards. He's throwing back across his body. The safety. And then I have people arguing.
No, good throw. Just he's an NFL quarterback. A lot of these guys can do this. You know what I mean? It's crazy nowadays. These guys, the way they throw the ball and fling it, it's something. But I don't know if I'd give him the Throw of the Year award off of that.
And I'll continue to get dragged. Chicago fans are going to absolutely love that. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame.
Well, you're talking about the Packers. I don't think it's the throw. I think it's the Packers quarterback.
That's fair. Congrats on reaching the top 52 modern era players eligible for the Hall of Fame class of 2026. You're put on that 2000s all-decade team offensive line by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That makes you, my friend, top 2 at your position for the decade, okay? For the entire decade. That's crazy. I know you said I don't know why it's taking so long. Why do you think that is? I would venture to guess it has something to do with just the center position. What do you think?
Yeah, that is. There is a backup there, right? And I like you said, I did make all decade. I think I'm the only offensive lineman on the all decade, not in the Hall of Fame. So I like to go in. You know, I mean, Hawaii. I grew up in Hawaii. That's where I was born and raised. Me and my wife went there, both from Hawaii. And the state of Hawaii doesn't have a Hall of Fame. It would mean a lot to me to be the first. I think I deserve to be in there, but obviously you can't make your own argument. In the room, I think my stats say, and I think if you ask guys who studied offensive line, like guys who watch offensive line play, and the guys I played against, hopefully they would say that they agree.
What's your relationship like with the Hall of Fame right now in that process?
I don't really have one. I don't really know anybody there. You know what I mean? And
no, I mean,
obviously,
like I guess the idea of it. Are you patient? Like, how are you? By the way, I do this with every Hall of Famer, then they get in, and then we kind of get to look back at it. But where are you in handling? You know, I've talked about this with Hester. I've talked about this with literally everybody. Where are you with your personal relationship with the idea of the Hall of Fame?
Would be a huge honor, right? I mean, I was patient when it started, you know, starting to get a little impatient with guys who I see going over the years, and they all deserve it. I just kind of think like, oh, man, I've had that kind of career also, you know, and I've had those kind of accolades also as we go on, and I played with 20 different quarterbacks for the Chicago Bears and still kept the level of play that I kept, right? So I don't know if anybody can match that. I don't know if anybody can say they played with 20 quarterbacks and still went through 6 Pro Bowls, but those are my arguments, and hopefully one day I'll get in. I don't think about it every day. As you mentioned, I have 6 kids and they keep me pretty busy, but it would be a hell of an honor, and I do think I belong in there, and we'll see what happens.
I know Nick Mangold, one of the other centers who advanced to this stage. I saw you tweeted about him. I'd love to just sort of hear, and I'm so sorry for your loss to the football family, loss to the brotherhood of centers, present, past, and future. Larger-than-life player, larger-than-life person. What will you remember about Nick?
I didn't know Nick very well, obviously. He was a little after me, but I did watch his career and watch him play football, and I'm a big fan of centers, and I was a big fan of his game. And you know, just really, really sad when I heard the news that he went through what he went through and that his family lost him. Obviously, it's the first people that you think about, right? And you think about the people who know him and his family, and just really a tragic loss, just way too early. And, you know, it's sad because you don't, at this point, it doesn't really matter. It does. He was a great football player, but more than that, from what I hear from everybody, he was a great person, a great teammate, and a great family man. And just really, like you're saying, really a big loss and just a sad story.
I remember every time I was around him, his energy was like a 10 out of 10. He was truly one of one. He loved family. He loved football. He loved food. He loved all the beautiful things. So continue to send love to his family, to everyone who knew him, people who didn't know him, as he's certainly a standout in the NFL. We appreciate you, Olin. Good luck on your journey to the Hall of Fame. Cannot wait to re-rack this and play it when you get in. And you can, of course, listen and watch Olin all week as a football analyst for 670 The Score in Chicago. Happy Halloween. Happy weekend. Thank you, the legend, Olin Kreutz. Appreciate you.
Have a good weekend. Thank you very much.